Hey guys, it's David from theunlocker.com, and here's what we found at the Kyocera booth at CTIA 2011. The only phone on display at the Kyocera booth was the Echo. Not only that, but they had a large, giant-sized version of it made out of 2 TV screens to showcase what the device can do. Now, it is the first device that has 2 touchscreens, both of them working in tandem as one large touchscreen. You can even multitask by using one of the screens for one application and the other screen for another. That wasn't the only thing we found. We also found some Swype representatives, that input method that you probably use. Well, one of them was kind enough to give us a quick run-through of the Echo and some new features of Swype.
So, Kyocera Echo, dual screen device from Kyocera, first of its kind. There's never been a dual screen device like this before. So obviously you have your standard portrait and landscape modes, running Android 2.2. Big deal obviously for the Kyocera Echo is its multi-screen support. So there are actually 2 screens running in tandem as one large screen. So when you're working in this mode, you're obviously going to be able to scroll like any normal any Android phone with a big screen. Same thing with the web, obviously. But the big deal is here. I don't know about you. If I'm surfing the web and I find a phone number that I need to call, I go to my dialer, I start typing it in, I forget what number I'm calling, I say okay 80 what, I have to go back to my browser, switch back to my phone app. With the Echo, what you can do is, for applications that support it, tap on each screen at the same time, and it's going to bring up a application selection menu. So you can actually run 2 separate applications in tandem. Android in and of itself already has the multitasking capabilities, native to Android. So adapting the Echo to use those functionalities to display 2 separate applications at the same time has an incredibly small resource impact. So you're not going to see a huge performance degradation like you would with maybe a Windows phone or something of that nature. So I mean, I as a user at home or at my desk, I have 2 or 3 monitors. So I'm used to being able to work in several applications at the same time. So it never really occurred to me that this would be helpful on a phone until I actually picked up the Echo and started using it, and I'm like, why haven't we done this before? So Swype comes integrated, pre-installed on the phone. We spent a lot of time working with Kyocera to make sure that Swype behaved in the ways that you expected it to. So when you're using Swype, obviously you have gestures where you have to go off the top of the keyboard. You have this bezel in the middle of them. So the question is, are you going to swipe across the bezel into the top screen? We decided instead to implement an empty space on top of the keyboard on the bottom screen, so you can do all of your capitalization gestures right on the bottom screen. At the same time, when you go into landscape mode, we decided to put the keyboard on one half of the screen so that you're getting that specific, that thumb experience that people are used to with Swype. We spent a lot of time working with Kyocera on transitioning, especially from one mode to another, making sure that when you go from landscape or portrait in dual screen to an alternative mode in single screen, that it's going to transition and behave correctly without any kind of aberrant behavior. So we worked really closely with Kyocera to make sure that their systems were available for us to utilize, that our experience was matching what they were expecting, and it turned out to be a really, really lucrative and great, a great result for both of us. So we're really happy to be on the device, and I think they're pretty happy to have us, and it works really well as far as I can tell.
Besides giving us that great demo, the Swype representative also showed us some of the new features of Swype. They have now horizontal text selection for predicted words, plus they also have real-time prediction of what the next letter is going to be as you're typing. That, in conjunction with the regular Swype, I think makes for a really great input method and a much smoother experience.